besties, welcome back to the channel. This is So with Somi. On today's tutorial, I'll be showing you how I made this simple top with side slits. So you can switch up the style by tying it on one side, or you can leave it the way it is. So to get all the details, do not skip any part of this tutorial. Watch to the end of this video and do not forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. So for this tutorial, I made use of this leftover fabric I have at home. It was 1 yard and some inches. So I folded it into 4. This fabric, I used it for my sister. So this is the leftover I have here. So I folded it into 4 so I can be able to cut both the front and the back piece at the same time. So after folding it into 4, I'll be taking my measurements. So I came down 9 inches for my chest line. So we're just drafting out our basic bodies. Now I marked 16 inches for my waist. So the first line is our chest line. The second line here is my waistline. After getting my waistline, I marked my hip point, which is 24. So I got my hip line, which is 24 inches, that is 9 inches from my waistline. So for the full length of my top, I made use of 27 inches. So depending on how long you want yours to be, make use of that. So after that, I took my shoulder measurements. My shoulder is 15 divided by 2 give you 7.5. I marked that on the shoulder line and on the chest line. After marking that, I connected the points together. On the armhole side, I came down 1 inch for my shoulder slope. And for the neck weight, I made use of a neck weight of 4 inches. So you're free to make use of 3 inches. So I didn't want mine to be that rounded. So I made it 4 inches for it to be a little bit free on my neckline. So you can make use of 3 inches by 3 inches. I measure what I have left on the armhole. I got the middle of that and I came in on that point by ½ an inch. On the chest line, divided my round bust by 4, I marked. Now I'll connect the 3 points together. But before that, I'll add my stitching allowance of 1.5 inches. And I'll connect the points together this way to cover out my armhole. So guys, this is just a basic bodies. We do this all the time on the channel. Now on the waistline, I'll divide my round waist by 4. I'll mark. I'll add 1.5 stitching allowance on that. I'll connect from the chest line to the waistline. So this fabric was very light and it was moving. On the hip line, I'll divide my round hip by 4. I'll mark. I'll add my stitching allowance of 1.5 inches. So whatever measurement I have on the hip line, I will mark the same measurement on the full length of the top and I will connect. So after connecting, this is what we have. We're just going to trace out all the excess we have. So guys, before we get back on the video, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. So guys, I'm so sorry I've been a bit busy, but don't worry, I have lots of videos that will interest you. So before we cut out, we're going to put our neck measurement. So I came down for the depth by 3 inches. So the width is 4 inches, the depth is 3 inches, and I connected it to the neck width this way. After that, we're going to just trace off all the excess we have left on the neckline, shoulder and on the armhole. So after cutting out, this is what we have. Now I'm going to turn in the neckline with a bias. So I'll turn the neckline with a bias. After stitching it first, then I'll top stitch it on the inside this way. So I'll do that for the boats and I'll bring it back to show you what I have. So after stitching, I've equally sewn my shoulders with ½ an inch. So now to close the sides, I'll come up by 10 inches. This is where I want my slit to start. So I came up 10 inches on both sides of the top. So after that, I'll be stitching with 1 inch up to that point on both sides. So I'll do that and bring you back to show you what I have. So after stitching, this is how everything came out looking. So now, if you want, I've equally hemmed the sides with I used a hemming gum to hold it down so that it will look very neat. So I'll hold it down with a hemming gum. So the next thing now is we're going to hem the lower part of this top on both sides, but we're going to keep it aside. Let's draft out our sleeve first. So for my sleeve, this is the fabric I'm making use of. Here, the length I have here is 17 inches. So now I'm going to come down 4 inches for my biceps. So I'm going to mark 4 inches. So if you want if you want your top to be longer than mine, I think you should use 1.5 inches. So here I'm just managing this fabric because this is a leftover fabric from the dress I made for my sister. So from the upper part of my sleeve, I'll just curve it out this way, like as if I'm marking an X. So this is how I usually draft out my sleeve. But if you have any other way that you draft out your sleeve, you can equally use the same method. At the end of the day, we are all just arriving at the same thing. So after that, I'm going to measure it round to make sure I have my round armhole measurement plus my stitching allowance. So after getting that, I'll mark it. Then on the hemline, I'll be marking my round sleeve measurement. I'll mark my round sleeve measurement on the wrist. I'll mark it there. Then I'll add my stitching allowance. So I later added more fabric to this sleeve. So after getting that, I'll connect the points together this way. So remember, we are cutting out 2 pieces for this sleeve. So we're using this one to cut out the second one. So after cutting out, this is what I have. I've equally joined the one I added to complete the sleeve, and I hemmed it. So the next thing is I'll take it to the machine. I'll be stitching with the 1 inch stitching allowance I added. So I'll do the same for the second sleeve. I'll stitch it with 1 inch. So I'll do that and bring it back to show you what I have. So after stitching my sleeve, I have attached one of the sleeve already to the top, and I've hemmed the lower part of the top. So to attach the second sleeve to the top, I'm going to get my sleeve. I'll open up the seam I have on the side, and I'll open up the seam allowance on the top this way, right side facing each other. So I'll place the two of them right side facing each other. I'll use my pin to hold it down. Now I'll take it to the machine and stitch with 1/2 inch all around. So if there's any way you do this, you're free to do that. So I'm going to stitch that, and I'll bring it back to show you what I have. So after stitching, guys, we have come to the end of this tutorial. This is how easy it is to make this top. So thank you guys so much for watching up to this point. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel, and on your post notifications so you get notified anytime I post a new video. See you on my next video. Bye.